aren't able to make it today. Did you? They did? Okay, so if you are new to the PFE world, here is parent and family engagement defined. Um, the Title I parent and family engagement is defined as a participation of parents and families in a regular two-way and meaningful communication. So they really want us to highlight the regular two-way meaningful communication that we have with parents. So it's not just us sending out newsletters or putting, stuff on social media or um, sending a piece of paper in the child's backpack home for the parent to sign. We are looking for that relationship. We want feedback from parents. If you're receiving Title I funds, a parent's voice is very important. They need to be giving y'all feedback on what events to hold, PFE events to hold at your district, how you're going to be spending funds as well. Like their input needs to be in there. You need to get their input on that. And so, and they're a big piece as well in making that the children are successful, right? And so we really want districts to have a partnership with their parents. And so, however you decide to build that regular two-way communication with your parents, um, you know, I hope you guys are doing that. Okay, so I was earlier, if you were in the session for the federal programs updates, I shared we are in December. December. It is the craziest time of the month. So we have Mother's Day. Today is Cinco de Mayo. We have graduation. We have field days. We have Teacher Appreciation Week, end of the year ceremonies. We have all these awards and the list goes on and on and on, right? And so y'all are probably like up to here with parents and probably don't want, are like, Monica, right now is not the time for parent family engagement. But it is actually the perfect time um, to get those evaluations out, to get feedback from parents because you're seeing a lot of them at many events that are happening this month. And so keeping that in mind. But also, if you're a district that waits to the end of the year, that doesn't do like evaluations throughout the whole year, and you wait to the end of the year, have those conversations with parents because they probably forgot all of the resources or the events that you did for them in August or September, right? And so here is a PFE year at a glance map. So you can click on the QR code and it goes through every month of, you know, some some of the things that you should be doing with your PFE program throughout the year. Right now is the perfect time to get that evaluations and feedbacks done because this summer, if you can see, like the June, is you use the evaluation data to update program and documents. And so this summer, you will use the data that you're getting right now currently. Uh, and for the annual Title I meeting, they also have a map that TA has created, and it kind of helps you throughout the whole year. And it has the same thing. Right now, you should be evaluating the content and effectiveness of your school PFE policies, programs with parents and families. I think maybe TA knew like this is a crazy time of the month, and you're going to see a lot of parents this month. So be getting that feedback from them. Okay. In the chat, I can't see the chat. Be honest. The last annual Title I meeting was more your annual Title One meeting, was it an A, Blockbuster, B, Put Me to Sleep, C, Average, or we tried? We tried to hold the meeting. So in the chat, just put which one was your annual Title One meeting? What was it? A, B, C, or D? What are you seeing, Tammy?
Nothing so far. The suspense is getting to us.
Okay.
A,
Okay. Who said A? It was a Blockbuster
Christy
hit.
Burks Brownwood ISD.
Oh, okay, okay.
We had fun. We did a scavenger hunt around the school.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
it was a
is
lot
a
of fun.
really good idea.
And
Can
then
you
they
tell
got
me?
prizes.
Uh-huh.
So it was a lot of fun. The parents and everybody loved it.
So on the scavenger hunt, what was the scavenger hunt about?
It was getting to know the school where everything is. So they had to go in and find the gym and meet the gym coach. You know, because a lot of times those people don't get introduced, and
Oh, yeah.
so go to the library and find such and such book, or like different grade levels, and it was just fun.
That sounds like a great time. That does sound like a lot of fun too.
Mhm.
We had
Okay.
one other response that they tried.
Like I've had a lot of districts tell me we've tried and that it's really hard to, sometimes the annual Title One meeting is the same presentation year after year. And so parents don't want to go to it. And so we're going to change that. We are going to change that. So but first of all, before we go into like ideas and like all of that other stuff, requirements. There are some requirements to the annual Title One meetings. Um, and so the requirements for your annual title meeting is that you have to let families know that they're participating in a Title One program and the right for them to be involved. And so a lot of the times when I go to and talk to parents or are in different committee groups and I ask like, do you know what Title One is? They have no idea. They're like, we don't know. We have no idea what and they don't also feel like parents are like, I don't even know how to be involved in the school unless I'm asked to like come to the teacher conference meeting or something like that. So this annual Title One meeting is a chance for you to explain to your parents that in a language and format that they understand that, what a Title One program is, and why they're being involved, or getting their feedback and things like that. Um, it should include all your parents and families of a Title One Part A school. Um, it should be held in a convenient time and must be offered at flexible number of meetings, different days at convenient time and different times. Questions on the requirements for the meeting. And I'm going into more details because there's more on the actual meeting piece to it. So you inform parents of the school's participation under Title One, Part A, like what is Title One? What's the purpose of Title One? And then the requirements that are under Title One Part A as well. So families have the right to request regular meetings. You talk about the Title One 1% set aside and how we want parent feedback on how to use that money that we're getting for Title One. And then you have a policy and compacts, and we've done the policy and compact trainings where we ask parents for their feedback and you know and just their voice is what matters. And then of course, like all your Title One Part A family events that they need to be part of. And one of the things I want to share that in the last training that we went to in Amarillo, um, they did an activity where they asked everyone, they're like, who has children and so on. We raised our hands and they asked, like, at the end of the year, what do you want your child to have? Like, what are some goals? What do you want your child to leave with this, whatever grade they may be in? And so everyone wrote it down and shared. They're like, we just want our children to be successful. We want our children to have confidence and to what they're doing. We want to see leadership skills in them. We want them to, they named all these things, right? And so at the end, we put them up on the wall and we saw everybody's, and I took pictures of all these. And he the presenter said there's not one single person in here that said that had a goal that was like, oh, I want my child to be 5%, increase 5% in their reading skills, or 10% in math, or well, it was nothing of those goals. So it was a big aha moment for me. And I've been asking other parents now that I've gone to, like, what are your goals? And there's not one single parent that I've met that have said that. All of them are like, they want their children to be successful, have that confidence to do whatever they want to do in life. But I think that those conversations are so important with parents that you're having at your school, because when we do policies and compacts, a lot of the goals, you can tell an educator wrote it, because we see the child differently. And as an educator, we have different goals for that child, right? And so we need that parent feedback, so that, okay, what are the goals that the parent has for their child? And then putting that into your policies and your compacts, and then even bringing it up on how you host your events and stuff. Okay, so requirements. So for the annual Title I meeting, you have all these. There's also, we've done the trainings on building capacity, policies, compacts, and so here is a one-page document for your annual Title I meetings, where it has your requirements and also compliance documentation that you need to have in place as well. Like your agenda, your sign-in sheet, meeting minutes, how you advertised your meeting, and if you provided like childcare, transportation, things like that. Okay. There are some that I asked my robot to do slides for me and to make them fun. And so here's another one, that a compliance slide for you that can help you when you're doing your annual Title I meeting. So notifying parents, providing information of your Title I, offer flexibility, offer meetings at various times in multiple formats, encourage parent voice. And this is also really important. Do not, please, 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 if anything, do not forget to get your parent voice, get that input and feedback, because PA asks for that when you submit your documentation and you have, like, let's say your meeting minutes. They're like, well, did parents attend? And two, how did they get feedback? How, did they make suggestions and so on? So making sure that you have that. And then document everything. Keep evidence of planning, outreach, contact, and feedback. All of that. So we talked earlier about what is meaningful consultation, like that two-way regular um, conversations and relationships. And then it has on here, I just really wanted to share this also with you guys because of the importance of a parent voice, and inviting your parents to be part of that parent advisory group that you create, or I don't, any group that parent group that you create, and you're getting this feedback. is so important to get their feedback. So I put this in there for you. And I also put this in there because if they don't come to you, you go to them. I put a picture here of our migrant pack meeting that was hosted a few years back. And so a couple of the ladies from here, it was hard for migrant families to come to the service center to have the parent meeting. So the ladies went out to them at the dairy farm and hosted these parent meetings with them during their break and even got community resources for them and things like that. So, because they really wanted their feedback. So, remember when you have these consultations, you have also you have to have teachers, the principals, school leaders, paraprofessionals. Um, Administrators, any other appropriate school personnel. So, and also note to self, and this one had come out last year, was if your PFE committee should be made up of more than 50% of your parents. So let's say you have a committee group, a PFE um, board group, and it's just for parents to be revising the parent policies and compacts. Well, it has to be made up more than 50% of parents. It can't be a counselor, principal, 5 teachers, a community member, and 1 parent, or two parents, because the thought process on that also goes back to they said if there is 10 educators in the room and I'm the only parent attending this meeting, as a parent, I'm not going to feel very comfortable sharing my ideas, or I might not understand their language. And so this came out. Okay, question. And this one, if y'all could type in the chat, would you attend your annual Title I meeting? So, I mean, the scavenger hunt, I would attend. As a parent, I would. So that one, yes. Christy, I would attend yours. But would you attend your annual Title I? If you were a parent, would you have attended your annual Title I meeting? Put it in the chat. Yes. No. I'm not going to call anybody out. I'm just curious to see.
Yes, because we had free food for the whole family, Lindsay
Oh,
says.
nice. Okay, so usually I get, like I said earlier, one of the big questions I always get is districts say like nobody wants to come to their annual Title I meeting. Um, and so, well, somebody else say something.
Yes, because students, now everybody's writing. Yes, because students received a free ticket to throw water balloons at administration. Another person said, I'm working on making ours better. I've spent this year learning what needs to be done. And then Lindsay wants to make sure we did not pay for the food with Title I money, just to clarify.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, not yes, you did use Title I. That that came out wrong. So we do not use Title I funds for food, but those sound like a lot of fun to do. And yes, of course, having food will bring in families. And if I was a student too, I would make my parents take me, like, Mom, Dad, we're going because I'm gonna throw those water balloons to Tammy. Good, good, good. Um, as you remember, and this goes back, I used AI to sum up the stakeholders piece to it, but parents is the most important role. Like if there's a star in the movie, is going to be the parents. You want parents there, you want parent feedback. You are going to be doing everything for the parents. They're the stars, the heart of the success, right? Then, of course, your teachers, your principals, you want your community partners there too, and district leaders. So let's go over some like how can I get parents to attend annual Title I meetings or be part of your PFE board that you've created this year to help you. Um, so I'm going to give you some selling ticket ideas. So there's creating a hype. You're going to make it worth it, and you're going to make it easy for parents to attend. So one of the things, especially in our there's a lot of rural school districts in our region. And so sending out an email or putting it on social media or, that's not working. We're going to go directly and personally invite parents to attend the meeting. We're going to do face to face and all that, right? We're going to spread the word. And then we're going to have also student ambassadors. So we'll have students. One of the best ways to get parents to go is you get the parent, you get the student to tell mom and dad, like, let's go. So the idea of like getting students to throw water balloons at the administrators, yes, like my children are going to bug me that I better take them. Or just to have different and if I've had a school district use like student performances before, tie that in the annual title meeting with the student performances. And of course we're gonna go see my little girl sing or play, clarinet or whatever. So we're not gonna miss that. And then we're going to make it worth it. So we have food and treats. Somebody said earlier they provided food. Door prizes is always good. Of course, there's the student performances. And then we're going to make it easy. So we're going to offer like virtual options. We'll go over a little bit on the virtual requirements here in a bit. But so keep in mind, as parents, we don't want to be there in a meeting for more than an hour. So, we always set a limit of for parent meetings, try to keep it under an hour. And then communicate to parents that they're important, that we value them. And so one of the things I know I heard a presenter one time say at a district say too, it's like when we get invited to Mary Kay parties, we go into their house and then they don't even talk to us, Miss. Like I'm like, you're right, we can't do that. So we cannot invite people to come to our school district and then we don't talk to them or we don't value them. And so as soon as they walk in the door, you greet them and you say how much they're valued until they leave, right? Okay. I jumped from, sorry, I went from slides something to the end. Okay, so here are some spotlights on some success that other districts have done. So they've done parent meetings. So they've um, put the annual Title I meetings alongside with some other events. They've done virtual meetings. They've done parent workshops. They've done community collaboration partnerships, parent teacher collabs. Um, they've done family events and academic nights. So I'm going to go over some of these, like the parent workshop one. So they have, and this one was out in one of our school districts. It was out in Ozona. And so they did what they call the parent cafe. And so they had 4 different meetings with parents throughout the year, and they just did different sessions with them on resilience, on communication, on relationships. Like I went and sat in on a few of them, and they were amazing. Is Janina here? If Janina's here, Janina, y'all, I loved the parent cafes that y'all did with parents. Um, and then there was also family event, and I think on this one if you can see here, it says please stop by the parent engagement table on field day for your Title I input meeting. So they got feedback for their Title I meeting on on the children's field day. And so I thought that was pretty good because, a lot of parents are going to go see their children run and participate. They also have like academic night. So on this one, they partnered up and it says like, we're going to go over your Title I meeting. We're going to go over the Title I program. And they listed all the things that are required to be spoken about at your Title I meeting. But then they also said awards for of all the academic awards. And so I thought that was a pretty good way to tie those two in. Then they also have ones, and this one is from ESC 3, Title I presentation. And so they did evaluation policies and hosting. But I really like how she shows different ways to do like games for these meetings. And so somebody said they did the scavenger hunt there, and this one, I've also seen like Family Feud. So we've used some templates on Family Feud. So if you're looking for Family Feud templates, I have those as well. But they make it fun for families to go, and then they have questions on there talking about the Title I programs, and they have parents play along with them on these. And so that one's a good one as well. Um, parent teacher collaborations, and then community partnerships. Always getting people in the community leaders to come out and partner with the schools and do their Title I, meetings with them. So inviting them, letting them be part of the process as well. And those are all good, right? So there's more. This one was life skills. So they did their Title I parent meeting addressing life skills. And you'll get this. Oh, I saw this. Can you hear the music? Okay, so it's Usher walking into the annual Title I meeting. So school district put this video out, and I just thought it was pretty clever. There's another one. There's a tweet of the please join us in the cafeteria annual Title I parent meeting. We'll have some fun food. Hope to see you there. Okay. Here was the one I showed earlier, Parent Advisory Council. And so they hosted their Title I meeting. There's another one. This one is, which I think I see this a lot. A lot of people do the annual Title I meeting with the open house. And so because everyone's there to meet the teacher and, see the school and so on. But we also have to remember that it can't just be, you know, a presentation of slides that are playing in the background while parents are just walking by. You actually, you have to get that feedback. There has to be that two-way collaboration, communication between you and the parents. And so like here you could see like they're presenting and the parents are engaged. They're not just like walking by, and it can't be like 5 minutes that we do the annual sign here, annual Title I meeting, and then go on to meet the teacher. Like you have to have it has to be more than that. This one was the collaboration that they did with Scholastic. They did a book fair during school hours and stuff. And here is a different version of it. of the annual Title I meeting. You can't hear this one either, but it is also a video that a school district posted. And the song is Come Through This, watch this. And so it's pretty catchy. And so I just thought, ooh, that's pretty clever to have, the song playing in the background. It's telling you, like, let's review our use of Title I funds, discuss the Title I budget, learn about programs. And they did it. I thought it was pretty catchy invitation to get parents in. This one was the field day. And they did the flyer in English and Spanish. This is also the collaboration that they did with parents and teachers. There was one that I saw. Let me see. Make your voice heard. Dinner will be provided. Discussion of budget discussions. There's that parent cafe. This one is this one had the join us for ice cream floats. So they did ice cream floats for this one. How to get involved. They had a different name for the parent group. This one's virtual meetings and where it was going to be at, get the recordings. This one, they've listed all the times for the different campuses. Okay. Hold on. Tammy says I can show. Hold on. We're gonna get the audio working. Thank you, Mercedes. Let's see if y'all can hear it.
Hi everyone, it's Ms. Hubbard, the parent liaison here at Dr. Martin Luther King Charter School. I would like to personally invite you out to our activity tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock here in our school's library. Donuts with dads and muffins with moms. Come out and join us for some great conversation, information, and just meet our staff. Thank you all very much, and I'll see you all tomorrow.
Isn't that great? Like, you get to see a friendly face, someone at your school district sharing about the event and where it's going to be at. And, I think parents would really, I feel like that is a good way to hook them in. Here was the academic night. So the awards that were presented were like the AR awards, perfect attendance, A honor roll awards, AB, and then with the Title I meeting, everything that they're going to be talking about on it. So I thought that one's a pretty clever one, This one, I really like the Robert H. Harvey Elementary School because it also invites grandparents. So it has them like grandparents, parents, guardians, and community members to attend. And so I thought that was pretty clever because there's many times where we hear in our region, grandparents are raising their grandchildren. And so sometimes they might not come because they're like, well, their parents are working. I'm the one in, well, grandma and grandpa come. And this one was the, having just different games and things that you could do. And you don't have to do the same annual Title I presentation year after year for the PowerPoint. Same thing over and over, year after year. We could change it up. We can, make it fun. Scavenger hunt, Family Feud games, or, things like that.
Bring your peers, Buccaneers. It's time for our annual open house.
First, we will meet in the auditorium at 5:30 for the Title I meeting.
Open house will begin promptly at 6 p.m. where you can meet our amazing teachers. This year will start with periods 1, 3, 5, 7 and then continue on to 2, 4, 6, 8. You will spend approximately 10 minutes in each class period. Parents, as you look for your child's classroom, keep in mind the 4 digits. First number is the building number, second number is the floor number, and the last 2 digits is the classroom number. And now for a speed tour. This is building 1, where you'll find our main office. This is building 2, home to the media center and the English department. This is building 3, here's where our social studies and math classrooms are located. This is building 4, this building houses our science classes along with magnet programs. This is building 5, dedicated to VPA and the gym. And that concludes our speed tour. I hope to see you there. Have a bug-tacular night.
Isn't that great? You have a student that's inviting parents to come to the annual Title I meeting. Then she goes over and she shows them the buildings, what buildings, talks to them about room numbers. Like, I just thought that was such a clever way to get parents to come to them. And if you get different students to do it, they'll watch the video and come.
Lindsay just shared in the comments that it would
Here's
be so helpful
Buccaneers.
for
It's
people
time
who
for
are
our annual-
directionally challenged to be able to see where to go.
Yes, I just love that idea of them doing the video for this. So something to think about maybe for this next year for y'all. Okay, so then here is building director's room, build your blockbuster meeting. I had my robot sum up all the the last slides and put them into one. And so one of the most important things to think about when you're planning your annual Title I meeting is know your audience. Like, I don't know. Is it grandparents? Do you have majority grandparents raising their grandchildren at your school district? Do you have families, a lot of migrant families in your school district? Single parents? See, I don't know who is at your district, the families at your district. So are you planning for them? So like their barriers, the language and things like that. What keeps them from attending? So knowing your audience is very important. And then the why. Uh, what's the goal of your meeting? And so we know it's a requirement. We know it's something we have to do, and especially if you're taking, Title I funds. But are you just sharing out the information, like going up there in a PowerPoint and just like, this is what Title I is, and this is why we have to share this is the funding we have, or what do you want parents to get out of your meeting? um have those conversations with them of, like, earlier I shared, like, what's their goal for their child? um what do you want to learn from your parents? How are you going to build a relationship with your parents? And then, design the wow. Um, make it engaging. Just don't, not just a sit and take kind of presentation. Make it memorable. And are they participating or just listening? So one of the ideas to create the wow factor, that is icebreaker, student involvement, real conversations, hand-on activities, and things like that. And then never forget your compliance piece, because we want that. That was very important. So having your agenda, sign-in sheets, and meeting minutes, and all of that in place. And again, I will remind you again, and I'll probably remind you a third, fourth time about collecting feedback from your parents, getting that input and having it. Like, how are you getting that? Um, okay, so I do have an annual Title I meeting. activity to have. And so I'm just thinking for this next year, um, what is something that I've shared with, and I'm going to give you about 5 minutes. We can say 5 minutes that I've shared with you, um, that you think, oh, that's a good idea, or that's something I'd like maybe to try for my annual Title I meeting for this next following year, that I want to do. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to build your annual Title I meeting for next year. Just to like a thought of like, I plan to do it on open house. I want to do ice cream social. I want to do a scavenger hunt. I want to do it with Scholastic. Um, you know, I'm gonna give you about 5 minutes uh, to create your annual Title I meeting for next year as an idea to make it fun and engaging. Well, that timer is we'll stop here at 10 minutes. I just put a 15-minute timer. Okay, we are back from, I hope you thought of some great ideas for your annual Title I meeting for this next year. I was over here quizzing Tammy and Mercedes on or telling them how would you invite parents? How would you? So, number one, we know the requirements that we have to present for our annual Title I meetings, right? So, because we went over those earlier today. So, two, would anyone like to share some fun and engaging ideas that they maybe came up with for this next year for their annual Title I meeting? If not, I also have Tammy and Mercedes. I made them. I was like, share some ideas. Share some ideas. Okay, so okay, we'll let Tammy or Mercedes jump on.
I'll go first. So one thing that um, my child's school has done before, which I thought was really kind of clever, was as a parent, you were walking into the meeting and the principal had slides like printed out, and they were simple. They just had like simple text on it or whatever. And so as you were walking in, she told you if you volunteer to present a slide tonight, you'll get a door prize. And so all the parents were like, "Oh yeah," or and they had really good door prizes. And so every 5 slides, she would do most of the presentation, but every 5 slides, yours would come up, and so then you had to come up and present to all of your friends.
That's a great idea.
Okay, it's been a year or two since my child was in school and had a Title I meeting, so I used my resources. And so I'm going to tell you a couple of ideas that my resources came up with. Title I bingo, that would be a fun game, kind of like the scavenger hunt. You get to mark off your thing if you can say how funds are used, or you met the principal, check that box off. You asked a question, you found the parent compact, other things, lots of things that you could add to a bingo card for Title I, make it a little bit more engaging. And then of course you give out prizes if they did well. I just got a text from a participant who said that she used her resources too, so I'm not the only one. Here's another one that I thought was kind of fun: scenario-based discussions. So after you've presented all your information, give some scenarios. And at the table, the people that are at the tables can discuss. Here's a scenario. Your child is struggling in reading. What supports does our school have available? You want to be more involved. What are your options? How can you get more involved? Videos. Okay. Where does the money go? They could have a mock budget. That kind of might be a little bit risky. Myth versus fact game, where you can give Title I facts versus Title I myths and make it a myth buster kind of presentation. That might make it more fun. And then raffle with purpose, similar to what Mercedes said. If you ask a question, you get a raffle ticket. If you visit a station, you get a raffle ticket, and so forth. Coffee and conversations. You have everybody sitting in round tables, and then the staff are sitting with the families instead of a lot of times whenever I was at a school, all the teachers were supposed to stand along the wall so that everybody could see them. But you get your staff mingled in to kind of help get to know the parents and get those conversations going a little bit better. So that's the end of my resources.
Thank you so much. Those are good. Those are really good.
My resource is SMART.
Anybody else that wants to share an idea that they plan to do for 26-27 school year?
So my campus is a little different because I have pre-K through sixth, but sixth is the first time all the kids come together in Brownwood. So what we've learned this year is that most of the parents don't know how to find their grades or find the help they need. And so we're going to really kind of use that to get them here for like an parent orientation type setting, and hopefully use it almost as like a meet the teacher, because they all want to meet the principal and meet the teachers because they've never been with these kids at this campus. And so we're going to try to get more parents involved that way.
That's a great idea. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? And they could answer like maybe how you'll invite parents or get feedback or maybe a wow factor. What are your thoughts? I'll wait for one more person. Be a brave soul and
I'm a
share.
brave soul.
Yes.
So I used my resources also because my resources are much smarter than me and a lot faster than me. And so I liked the idea of a scavenger hunt. And so my resources said, real easy, scavenger hunt, 5 different categories: student achievement and growth, curriculum spotlight, Title I overview, parent and student partnership, and student success tip. And so it's a scavenger hunt that broke down each different event that they explored throughout the scavenger hunt. And at the end, if they did it correctly, they ended up at an ice cream sundae, build your own ice cream sundae station. And at the station, there's a QR code that you had a survey for them to do that helped you. There's also a feedback wall that said, I wish, I loved, next time. For wow moments, it said student tour guides leading families through stations, music playing throughout the scavenger hunt that makes it upbeat and welcoming, a golden ticket hidden at one station
Ooh,
that
yes.
gives you a special dessert upgrade. Who doesn't want that? A completion certificate, group photo, like a photo station that says, that has a cool backdrop. And so anyways, there gave me some great ideas. So if you haven't found your resources, you should utilize your resources.
Good. Thank you so much for sharing. And those are so good. And I wanted like I feel okay, so all these events that we shared or like future events that we're planning already, right? It's so exciting and like we want our families to have fun, right? And imagine them having fun at your district and you'll be a hero. You will be the hero for that school district and they're more likely to, share back feedback with you or come to you with anything that they might need. Um, and so, wouldn't you prefer that than having like maybe the same Title One presentation that you've done year after year after year after year that, it's hard for people to attend, right? And so just, food for thought. But I also want to share, because I had colleague share, sometimes, we like those kind of presentations. There's people that like those presentations. And she's right. She is right. So this is why I said at an earlier slide, know your audience, know the people who are coming to your presentations, to your events and things like that. Do they like, there are people that like presentations like that. And so if those are your people, well, then you gotta get them what they want, right? And
That's
so,
exactly what I was thinking is like, where are the presentations for the people who don't want to be in front of everybody and don't want to, be seen necessarily like that. So
no, you're
gotta
right.
gotta take care of all the people.
No, yes. So who are their families coming to your events? And if they like those, the presentations that you've been doing, then continue on if it's working, right? So, okay, so thank y'all all for sharing. Um, I put in this, I like little jokes. When you log into a Zoom meeting, say hi, and then you go on mute and you don't say anything, and then you just hit bye, and then you log off. So I'm really happy that a lot of y'all have come off mute and said more than just hi and bye. So thank y'all for that. And it's a safe space. I hope, this is a safe space for everybody to share their ideas. Okay, so here is if you're new to this role, there is a toolkit. There's a QR code. It is the annual Title I meeting toolkit, and it will go step by step on what are the requirements, what are the documentation that you need, and yes, it'll give you surveys, all of that. So feel free to scan that and go through it. I'm going to show y'all here too a few of the pages I got from it as well. So it also has like a planning checklist for your annual Title I meeting. You can put on there like the date and times that you're going to have it, and when you're sending out notification to parents, and so on. There's the agenda piece to it, like what needs to go on the agenda? Does it meet compliance? So in the toolkit, it will also talk about the agenda and what needs to go in the agenda. And so PEA has a template, a sample of, what the agenda might look like. Like you have to make sure it has the time, the day and times on there because they want to see that you offered it at different times, and that you're flexible, right? And are you getting feedback from parents and things like that? So I added one here too that one of our school districts did, and you can see here they put welcome and introductions because that's huge. Always introduce who is in the room. Build those connections for your parents that are attending the meetings as well. And then what PFE, what does it look like? What is Title I? Reviewing the PFE policies and compacts, meetings scheduled, next meetings. And then at the end, you see here where it says like opportunity for attendees to ask questions and provide feedback. And so making sure you have all of that on the agenda. And then there's minutes in the sign-in sheets are also available in the toolkit. Making sure the accurate meeting minutes need to be saved for documentation purposes. You need to have on there, you see on here, parent suggestions and responses. What are parents saying? One of the things that I always bring up too, especially with policies and compacts, they'll say, well, if you get selected for program monitoring, they'll say like, well, this looks like the same one as last year that you have on your website. Well, the parents decided to keep it the same. Do you have that documented where you got that parents wanted to keep the policies and compacts and wanted to have these family events at these times or whatever? So making sure you have that somewhere in your meeting minutes. Sign-in sheets. So in your sign-in sheet, you have to include, it's a must, include the school name, the campus, or meeting title, date and time. A lot of the times we get the school district to submit documentation and it has open house. Like the sign-in sheet, just say, well, a lot of the school districts piggyback their annual Title I meeting with the open house. Well, but the sign-in sheets all say open house. They say nothing on there about annual Title I meeting. So making sure you have the correct title, date, time, and then the role of the person signing in. So I know sometimes like, am I a teacher or am I a parent? Am I a community member or a parent? Like, I don't know. So best practice is to have someone there by the sign-in sheet, letting them know like, filling out, making sure they have the correct role. You can also have virtual meetings for your annual Title I meetings. But there are some things and you could record it and but if you record the meeting and put it out there so that, your parents and families can watch, you have to offer another virtual meeting where it's a Q&A after the recording. So you have to give parents a chance to give feedback for it. You can also use, it says like you can use a tool or online polling to receive that feedback from parents. So like you could create a Google form, a SurveyMonkey, or whatever you want to share with your parents to get that feedback if you do that virtual meeting and you record it and put it out there. Yes, that's what we're going over right now. You can, but how would you get feedback from the parents watching the recording? So if you share that in live recording, how would you get that feedback? And you could use like a Google survey. You have like a QR code link to it or something and say, if you're watching this recording, please fill out this survey, or provide another virtual Q&A meeting for those people watching the recording. Good question. Also, when you do the record virtual meetings, again, making sure in the virtual world that you let the parents know who's in the meeting. So if you have an administrator or say, in this virtual meeting, we have Tammy Knight. She's our teacher for sixth grade. And we have Mercedes Rassi, who's our principal. And, Monica Diaz is the superintendent. But letting them all know who is in this virtual meeting, because you want parents to feel safe and build that trust with them. Do y'all want to take a little break, or we can continue on? Put in the chat, yes or no. We'll take a 10-minute break then. Okay, we're going to take a 10-minute break. We'll be back at 2:15. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I hope everyone's still here. I didn't run people off, but a Canva trick if you do the presentations, because I just learned this right now and I just thought it was the coolest thing. So I'm sure. Can you see the bottom of can you see? Okay, so if you want a timer, I don't know if y'all know this or not, because I just put like a video timer on there, but Canva has its own timer. And so you go to the three little dots and you show a timer and it gives you a timer. So, and then it also has music that you could put on there for participants. Isn't that great? See? And then let's say you wanted 5 minutes, 6 minutes, whatever. Anyway, you learn something new every day. So I learned that today. But probably in my next training, I'll probably forget. And Tammy and Mercedes probably have to remind me. So welcome back, everyone. So we did the annual Title I meeting. Now we're going to look into the second part of this training, which is the evaluation piece. But before we get started on the evaluation piece of it, do y'all have any questions on the annual Title I meeting?
I do real quick because I started this in August and kind of was thrown in, and so I've been just trying to learn all year long what to do. But I think our Title I meeting is associated with our freshman orientation. Does that sound like something we should be doing, or should we be doing something in addition to that?
So many school districts do like piggyback on like the orientation or open house or any of that. But do you have the documentation? Like let's say the sign-in sheet, does it say orientation or does it say annual Title I meeting? Was it being offered at a different time as well? Like so it could, now maybe not all parents were able to go to orientation. And do you have that documentation that it was offered at a different time? for other parents? And also, on the agenda, does it have the things that the requirements that you're supposed to talk about? So, did you talk about, your Title I program? Did you get your parent feedback during this time? Like, do you have that documentation in place? So you can have it, during your orientation, but do you have all the other stuff for the meeting as well?
Okay, thank you.
Good question. And because also they do like, did you see in the beginning it had like a young girl talk about like come to the annual Title I meeting, and then they're gonna have like a tour of the whatever. And they had like I think it was like a 30-minute set time for that meeting, for the annual Title I meeting. So that's good to have that then, right? It just can't be like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like,
There's a question in the chat. Monica, is it still a rule or best practice that sign-in sheets must show who was invited, like actually listing the names and role and not just a blank sign-in sheet?
so I guess I'm confused. Like the sign-in sheet has like everyone from the school that was invited.
I think,
No,
Lindsay,
like that's where I used to mess up as a principal. I would just have blank sign-in sheets, like, here you go, everybody sign in, but it wouldn't have the names of actual parents that were invited
No,
in
so
the roles.
now, yeah, you would have to have the role. Like you
The
can't
role,
just
not the
have
actual
like,
name,
well, yeah, you have to have the name and then the
both,
role, their role.
that they were
Um,
invited.
that they
you may
attended.
also be thinking of things like the comprehensive needs assessment where you have specific stakeholders that are supposed to be part of it. And for that, it's advised to have their role like pre-filled so that you can show that your committee does have all these people, but perhaps they weren't able to come to the meeting. So I think you may be thinking of
Oh,
a
so
different.
the annual Title I meeting does not have to have. Oh yeah, I was thinking of roles. You're right of that. I was thinking of CLNA, but does it have to have like student names, or can it be a blank sign-in sheet?
You don't have to have student signatures on there as
Not
long as
students,
you,
but like to show
but
who
the,
they're showing up for, or can you just have blank sign-in sheets for parents to sign in on?
I think they would say that's a local decision.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
no, those are really good questions. But usually the sign-in sheets that have been submitted to me, um, when districts have been selected when they do the program monitoring, they all have like a role on there, like as parent. It's not just like a blank piece of paper we're putting on the front sheet and it's parents walking in, they just sign their names.
So even
They,
on the annual Title I meeting?
mm, mm. Yeah, but it's not just, they still have the role on there, like
Gotcha.
their parent. Because they could
Gotcha.
have like a teacher or whatever.
Right.
But
And Tammy, you're right. I was thinking of the CLNA with like the
Mhm.
actual printed names of the team and not just having a blank one.
Those are good
Thank y'all.
questions. Good questions. And so right now during the evaluation piece, we talked, this is the perfect time to be getting back feedback from parents. You're going to see parents all this month. So, having your surveys, we'll look at some different surveys that you could do, making use of the evaluation. It's required that the PFE program and its policy be evaluated, and parents must give their input. And it's also a requirement that the PFE program and its policy be revised based on the results of the evaluation. So once you get all your parent feedback this summer, revise your PFE policies, revise your program for the next year. And as we're getting feedback right now for our parent, what are any changes that you're wanting to make this year for next year? Maybe I always tell school districts, because I see this every year. They wait till the very end. We're in May, December, to put out the evaluation when you should, best practice to me is after each event that you've hosted throughout the entire year, be getting those parent feedback. Because as parents, we forget. I don't even remember last week or yesterday. And you want me to remember, the back to school event or orientation from August, September. So how are we monitoring success? How are we collecting feedback, measuring the participation, review engagement, check understanding, look at results, and reflect and improve? So are we asking them through surveys, QR codes, exit tickets, quick polls, suggestion boxes, one-on-one conversations? They also talk about like school districts that call parents that miss the meetings to get their feedback as well. Like, why didn't you come to the meeting? What was the barrier? Maybe they're single parent and have two jobs, and so on. So, calling parents that don't attend or getting feedback of the parents that weren't there. Track attendance numbers, monitor repeat attendance. And so, well, I wouldn't read all of this to you, but this will help with your evaluation. So in the toolkit, the annual Title I toolkit, there are surveys that you do. And you're not only going to survey your parents, which that's your star, right? Those are the heart and soul of, but we also want to survey your staff members, um, educators and things like people that are helping with the events as well. And so there are some surveys. These look a little bit blurry, right? So this one you'll see, this one's a parent survey. There's some questions on there. But one of the things that I like to share with the parent survey is what kind of information are you wanting to get from parents? And I always also share like no more than 10 questions. I always say, I know this one has 22 questions on there, but what are you trying to get from your parents? What kind of information are you trying to get from them? And then try to limit it to the amount of questions that you ask. How to get parents there. We talked about this earlier too. Add an incentive, make it fun. So on. I should have put this in the front. And make them come back. Listen to parents, make it engagement, create a VIP section. So, if they fill out the survey, they can they become VIP and, make them feel valued and seen. Things like that. Give back. Let me see. Start on time. So AI helped me create some of these slides, but we kind of already went through those. And also knowing who is in your school district. And so I provided this one. I went in and looked at a couple of reports and pulled out the different translations spoken across Region 15. And so there are many families out there that speak many different languages in Region 15. And so are we providing the resources, the meetings, and information in a language that parents understand? And so keeping that in mind as well when you're providing the family events and meetings and things. So let's review some surveys. We did that one. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that one. Sorry. How many stars will you give it? So in the chat, I'm going to show you a survey for a parent that you're going to give out. And depending on how you think how good it is. And you can look at some of these and say like, oh, I really like that question, or I'm going to use that for future, but we'll go. Here's our first parent evaluation. So on the screen, in the chat, just put 1 through 5, how many stars would you give this evaluation? As a parent, would you fill this out? So, you know, it has, please rate the effectiveness of parent-family engagement event. So check boxes. To what extent did the content align with district initiatives and Title I Part A requirements? The presenter communicated information in a clear and understandable manner. How satisfied were you with this event? It shows that it's better, going to help them improve their PFE program. Additional trainings they like to see. How likely are you to recommend future event? What are your thoughts? Did anyone put any stars? You could put 1 through 5. Three. Okay. Tammy, what would you give it?
So just looking at it, it's nice and clean looking. It doesn't look hard and complicated. You know, a Likert scale is pretty easy to do. There's only 2 open-ended questions. Like if you had a whole bunch of open-ended questions, I'm not likely to fill it out because that takes a lot of resources from my brain. So I would rate it 3, 4.
Okay. Okay, so, but I'm going to be honest with you. This one, I asked my robot to create it, and I asked my robot to create a bad one. So why do you think this was a bad parent evaluation? Or why would it be bad? Yeah, or anybody.
Well, I don't know that the questions are exactly asking what it is that you want to find out from your parent. If you're looking for the event, one specific event, or are you looking at the whole entire year's worth of programs? I mean, the questions may not be good, but the format looks easy.
Okay. So we talk a lot about language and format that parents understand, right? Language and form. When you read the language, as an educator, you know what initiatives in Title I Part A requirements are. Do you think a parent would know what, like, onto initiatives in Title I Part A requirements are?
Good point, Monica. Good point.
Yeah, and so, keeping those in mind of, but I do like how your brain works, and it is clean evaluation, right? Okay. Did somebody say something in chat? Okay, so let's do second. How many stars would you give this one? So this one's a little more colorful. It has a little more images, to the eye. So overall, how was your experience today? What was your favorite part of today? How welcome did you feel at this event? Would you attend another event like this? Was the time and location convenient for you? Did today's event help you better understand how to support your child? And then listed some topics of, what they want to learn for next year. Stars, how many would y'all give?
Question 7 is helpful, but maybe too many open-ended. 3 stars.
Okay. 3 star. So I did ask this, my friend to create a form that was a little bit easier, in a language and format for parents to understand. And what I really liked about this one was that the visuals to it. But other than that, okay, we'll go to the next one. This one is a Google survey. And so here, how many stars would y'all give this survey? And so this one, you put out a QR code or you share out the link to this. And overall, how would you rate your experience today? Did today's event help you gain new ideas and strategies to support your child? What's part today? What topics do you want to learn more of? How welcome and valued did you feel at this event? Would you like to attend another event like this? And then what are your thoughts? You know what I really like? And again, you know your parents and families at your school district. And if you don't know them, if you're new to that community, you know, get a team and get parents too and get that feedback, get that information of what they want, and all that. But what I really like is um, how welcome and valued did you feel at this event? I feel like to me that's a really important question to have in your evaluations because um, the state of Texas a few years back surveyed thousands of parents, and the number one thing that came back to the state was that parents didn't feel welcome when they went to events at their school districts. And so, are parents feeling welcome at your school district? And if not, then how can you help change that at your campus? Go.
In the comments, it says maybe number 3 with a drop down to help remind them what we met about. I'm sticking with 3 stars because I'm neutral today.
Okay.
There's 3 of them that are required. I think it's good that not all of them are required because that's kind of if I'm not really in the mood to fill out a form and they're all required, I'm probably just going to cancel and not fill it out.
Mm-hmm. It's always a marketing tip that I've learned is marketing tip, never start with like contact information first, like fill out your name or because more than likely people won't fill that out. But they will if you start with a question like tell us how a question that's more personal. And then at the end, they're more like, okay, well, now I got to finish. So anyway, that's just a little marketing tip I learned in business school at Harvard. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't learn it at Harvard. Okay, so next evaluation. How many stars would you give this one? So we have how would you rate your overall experience? What parts of today were most helpful? Was the time, location, and length of the event convenient for you? Would you recommend this event to another parent? A good one. This one, rank the following topics you'd like to learn from in the future. 1, most interested. If you could change or improve one thing about today's event, what would it be? What is one thing you learned that you plan to use? What are your thoughts on this one? Would you use this? Well,
We have a comment, 4 stars. It looks friendly and not too much open-ended.
I also, and again, like I said earlier, it also depends what kind of information are you wanting to gather about your parents, and so I also think another one, a really important question is to have a question in whatever format you want asked, but how confident do you feel in supporting your child after today's event? Like academically. Like I feel like, figuring out what are the goals for parents? What do they have? What are the goals that they see for their child? And then how can we as educators help them with that?
One comment that I have about this one looks really friendly and pretty, but my first thought is whose job is it going to be to compile this data and make it into a report of some kind so that you can use the data? And it may not be that easy to do in this format, but it looks pretty.
Well, also, we have to remember because we like Google Forms and we like Google Forms, but not a lot of people have the technology to go on and do the Google surveys to do that. So I do see a lot of events have the paper form in the end. So, and then they had one, I went to a parent event last week and the evaluation, they had 3 questions. And then they also they color coded it for student and parents. And the student version, so I took my child to this event, and I said, "Oh, you filled out the survey?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, one of the questions was, "How can we make this event better?" And you know what she put? The event was good, but it needed to have s'mores. Which is fine. But this is again why I laughed as well too. But this is why we have to like, what do you want? What kind of information are you looking to gather from your parents, from your students, all of that?
One thing I see sometimes on surveys that I have to fill out is the arrangement of the bubbles to me makes a big difference. And like this one that you just pulled up, I would put the strongly agree at the very beginning versus at the end, because I think people, a lot of times you see the first thing, right? And you're probably going to ask that question. But I was thinking the same thing about the s'mores comment. I was watching some kids fill out a survey from an event we had the other night. And some of the things that they wrote on there that they didn't like were just things that were not even options for the event. Like they were not things that were happening at the event, and they were still had notes for us. So I just thought it was really funny. Some of the things that they wanted us to consider. I was like, what event did you come to? Because we're really different places today.
Thank you for sharing that. But it's something when you create your evaluation tool, what kind of information do you want to get back from parents? And again, don't make it long. This one's actually another, how many stars would you rate this one? This one I did ask my friend to create it and give me a bad one. Why would you think this would be a bad evaluation tool for parents?
It looks like a test. Feels a little bit like a STAR test or something.
They'll probably be traumatized. Oh, I didn't even realize till right now that on number 3, some of my friend didn't fill the form out right. Wrong here. It's not, it's a different, it's a robot language.
We need some accommodations for this one.
Mm-hmm.
One comment says it looks like 10, but then lots of questions within the question.
Yes. So remember, we got to keep it short and simple.
I filled out a survey very similar to that the other day, and I had answered strongly disagree on like 4 of them before I realized strongly disagree was where I thought strongly agree should be. So then I had to go back. But if I had never read that, I would have answered the whole thing in reverse of what I intended to. So
here's another evaluation one too. So we took out, so the previous one had like a lot of bubbles and like just a lot of questions. This one seems a little bit better, right? So out of these questions, and there's only 10, I kind of like, how long have you been involved with our school? And then letting them know, like, was this meeting long enough? Length was appropriate, but I don't know if I would put it as a bubble one. But and then, what is one thing you did not like about the annual meeting? Is that the kind of information that we're looking for? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. And then I agree with Tammy. Let me go back. Oops. This one is a Google form and they're all required. And so sometimes as parents, we might not want to answer a few questions, So, making it optional. Okay. Questions on evaluation tools. I am going to put a QR code here at the end, which is going to give you a link to a Padlet I have that's going to give you some Google survey templates and some other templates that you could use to go in and create your own with your parents and get with your parents and see, do these questions work? Do you think other parents will get good feedback from them? Okay, so now we're going to just go over a little bit of Q&As on the annual Title I meetings. Can the Title I Part A campus annual meeting be combined with other beginning of the year events? And so this one was y'all asked earlier about this, and so same thing. So yes is the answer to that question. But as I explained, it can't be reduced to 5 to 10-minute summary or handout, giving it out during orientation or during open house. And you must give parents more than one attendance option to do this. Keep separate documentation and all that. And that's a good thing. We put that on there because a lot of schools do this because that's when they get most of their parents and families is during back to school open house or at the band concert or whoever, right? So keeping that in mind. Next question is, can a campus use an already established committee to review, evaluate, and guide the decisions related to the PFE requirements, including the creation and revision of the campus PFE policy? And the answer to this is yes. So you can use an already established committee to review as long as there's a sufficient number and representative group of each parent and family member served. Next question is a campus required to convene at the Title I Part A annual meeting and the parent policy development meetings at different times of the day? Yes. So parents should be offered multiple opportunities to receive the information. Each Title I Part A campus shall offer at least 2 attendance options for its annual Title I meeting and at different times of the day and different days of the week to ensure maximum participation by parents. And, as well, they need to have more than one meeting opportunity for the input of the development, review, and evaluation of the PFE policy. Is it acceptable for the LEA written parent and family engagement policy to be distributed along with campus PFE policy at each campus annual Title I meeting? Yes. The answer is yes. You could use the annual Title I meeting as an opportunity to distribute both the LEA and campus PFE policies since they're both required to be distributed. And if you are piggyback going to do it off of the back to school open house or the orientation, it's a great time to distribute the PFE policy and compacts at the beginning of the year, because you want those to go out at the beginning of the year. And so that'll be a great time to go over them as well. Put it in your agenda. All right. Oh, next question is section 1116 requires that a training be provided to school staff on the value and utility of contributions of parents and in how to reach out to, communicate with, and work with parents as equal partners. Implement and coordinate parent programs, build ties between parents and the school. Is the LEA or campus required to provide the training? So, Section 11, the answer is Section 1116 states to ensure effective involvement of parents and to support a partnership among school-involved parents and community to improve student academic achievement. Each school and local educational agency assisted under this part shall educate teachers and support staff and school leaders and other staff with assistance of parents in the value and utility of contributions of parents. So, for example, the LEA may provide the training to principals and the school may provide the training to other stakeholders referenced. Schools and LEAs must maintain documentation. So one of the things that we always do too is we, if a school district needs help providing the trainings to their staff, to administrators, to whoever on how to work with parents and families and how to bring them into the campus, let us know. We provide the training for y'all. Region 16 is also always providing free training virtually and in person to help to do those trainings. So don't feel like you need to do this. Reach out to us to Region 16 and we'll get you those trainings. That was an activity. So we have upcoming PFE events. This one we're really excited about. So this summer we are doing a Power Up retreat for secondary parents and their children. And so we are bringing in, I met this gentleman out in Austin who at a conference who it's like, what kind of PFE trainings are you offering at other ESCs and school districts? And a big hit was sessions on helping parents build confidence and leadership with their child. But we decided to bring them in, but also we're doing sessions that parents have reached out to us throughout this past year. And we're offering it to y'all. So we'll have mental health sessions. I always get parents also asking me about college and scholarship information. We're going to have our counselor be providing that. Now as parents, we have to help our child, like in 8th grade, pick a career path. And so we don't know how to, as a parent, I don't know how to help my child with a career path. And so we have Lindsay's going to be here with us, helping parents help their child pick, explore different career options for them. And we'll have binders we're going to give out to parents on how to help them throughout the whole secondary education. And we're going to provide free food, free lunch for them. I'm thinking Senora Chang's. If you're an educator and you have a child in secondary, come on down because you'll get CPU hours as well. And then you could go back and share with other parents and families what you learned here and what's in the binder and maybe make copies and give it to your parents as well. So there's a link to register. Deadline is May 15th. Share it out with your parents at the secondary level as well. Tomorrow, Region 16 is having a best practice from 9 to 10:30. And this one, they're going to talk, it's two ladies from San Antonio who provide parent sessions, like parent hour. And they're going to explain how they do it, how it's going for them, and all that. So if you're interested in hearing how they're providing these parent sessions at their school, attend. There's the QR, they're free. And you can also go onto Region 16's website and they have all the previous best practice videos archived there as well. So you can go back and look at what they're doing, what other school districts are doing across the state. Every year, there's a parent family engagement conference. And so this year from now, the PFE is partnering up with other title programs and doing one big conference in November 10th through 12th in San Antonio. And so all these programs are going to be involved. Title I, Part A, Part C, D, Title III, you have McKinney-Vento, PMP, TMIP, all these programs. So it's going to be huge conference. So put it on your calendar and see if you can attend. Meet us out there.
Shout out to me for remaining kind when it seems like I don't have to be and probably make a lot of more money, but I do it anyway. So
We have
thank you guys so much.
this session, but before there is a QR code. This QR code is going to take you to a Padlet. The Padlet on there, it's going to go over all the. Let me see if I can show you. Oh, well.
Shout out to me for remaining kind when it's.
Well. Because I click, I get too happy and I click everywhere.
Shout out to me for remaining. Shout out to me for remaining kind when it seems like.
Okay, so this QR code takes you to the Padlet. It's going to have this presentation. It's going to have all the resources, the evaluation tools, anything, translation tools, all these things in there for you guys to help you with your annual Title I meeting. It also has toolkits in there as well. So save that Padlet because I do update that regularly. Okay, if this TA, these are 4 trainings that we're required to give out for parent and family engagement, will you please scan the QR code and go in there and select Region 15, select your role, today's date, and the training for today for that one is Parent and Family Engagement Implementation Requirements, the annual Title I meeting and evaluation. And then you hit remote and then you rate our session for today. So, and this will let TA know, like, Monica did so well. This was the worst session I've ever attended. So I accept all types of feedback, even if it makes me cry. And we have also our QR code for our evaluations. And I am here for, to answer any of your questions. If you need any help with anything, I am here to, that's what I get paid to do, is to help serve you guys. And so I hope you have a wonderful rest of the year. The May-Cember is great to you. And thank you all for attending. So I'm going to stop the recording. So if you have questions, y'all can ask. But other than that, I hope y'all have a great day.